Welcome to Top Rare Coins, your ultimate destination for discovering the hidden treasures of history. On this channel, we explore some of the most fascinating and valuable old coins from the United States. From rare pennies and silver dollars to historic coins worth thousands of dollars. Each piece has a story waiting to be uncovered. Whether you're a collector, a history lover, or just curious about coins you might have lying around, this channel will guide you through the world of rare U.S. coins, helping you valuable finds and learn what makes them so special. Don't forget to subscribe and join us as we uncover the secrets behind America's rarest coins. Title: 1967 Lincoln 1-cent no mint mark. The hidden $1,000,000 coin script. There are coins sitting quietly in drawers, jars, and forgotten collections that most people would never look at twice. But what if one of those coins could be worth a life-changing amount of money? Today, we're uncovering one of the most talked about coins among collectors and treasure hunters alike, the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent with no mint mark. A simple penny that, under the right conditions, can reach values starting around $1,200 and, in rare cases, climb toward extraordinary figures. Let's start with the basics. The 1967 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln penny series, first introduced in 1909. By 1967, the design still featured the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, created by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the familiar wheat ears had already been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been in use since 1959. Now here's where things get interesting. The phrase "no mint mark" might sound unusual, but for coins produced in 1967, it's actually normal. During the mid-1960s, the United States Mint temporarily removed mint marks from coins to discourage hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. So whether a coin was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it typically did not carry a mint mark during those years. So why is the 1967 no mint mark penny attracting so much attention and high valuations? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and errors. First, condition is everything in coin collecting. Most 1967 pennies you find in circulation are worth only a few cents. But when you discover a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, its value can increase dramatically. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services are significantly more valuable, and the highest grade examples are extremely rare. Second, and even more important, are minting errors. These are the true hidden treasures. Some 1967 Lincoln cents were struck with unusual characteristics that make them highly desirable. For example, double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors can be seen in the lettering, the date, or Lincoln's features. A strong double die error can turn an ordinary penny into a highly valuable collectible. Another valuable variety is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design being missing. Depending on how dramatic the misalignment is, these coins can command significant premiums. Then there are coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a penny being struck on a metal blank intended for a different denomination. These errors are extremely rare and can fetch very high prices at auction. Now let's talk about the value that has collectors excited. That a standard 1967 Lincoln cent in circulated condition is typically worth between 1 cent and a few cents. However, once you move into uncirculated grades, the value jumps to $10, $20, or even $50 depending on quality. But when you combine high-grade condition with a rare mint error, the value can skyrocket. Verified error coins from 1967 have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Exceptional examples with strong visual appeal and professional grading can start around $1,200 and go much higher depending on rarity and demand. In extreme cases, unique or near-unique error coins can attract serious collectors willing to pay premium prices, pushing values into the tens of thousands. While claims of $1,000,000 pennies are often exaggerated, the possibility of discovering a highly valuable coin in everyday change continues to fuel excitement in the collecting community. So how can you tell if your 1967 penny is valuable? Start by examining the coin closely under good lighting. Look at the date and lettering. Do you see any doubling? Check the edges and overall alignment. Is the design centered properly? Pay attention to the surface. Does it have scratches, wear, or discoloration, or does it appear sharp and well-preserved? Next, consider the color. Copper coins are often categorized as red, red-brown, or brown. A fully red coin, meaning it retains its original mint luster, is usually more valuable than one that has darkened over time. That if you suspect you have something special, the next step is professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a protective holder. This not only confirms its legitimacy, but also increases buyer confidence if you decide to sell. Another key factor is demand. The Lincoln Cent series is one of the most widely collected in the United States. Millions of collectors search for key dates, high-grade coins, and rare errors. This consistent demand helps maintain strong market values, especially for coins that stand out. Now let's address one important point. Not every 1967 penny without a mint mark is valuable. In fact, most are not. The high values you hear about apply only to coins with exceptional characteristics, either pristine condition, rare errors, or both. That's why knowledge is your greatest asset. Understanding what to look for can mean the difference between overlooking a coin and discovering a hidden gem. Many valuable coins have been found in everyday places: pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, even bank rolls. Imagine finding a coin worth over $1,000 in your own home. It happens more often than you might think. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1969 Liberty 1 cent, with no mint marked. At first glance, the 1969 Lincoln penny looks completely ordinary. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that has been in circulation since 1909. On the reverse, depending on the version, you'll typically find a Lincoln memorial. Millions of these coins were produced, and most are only worth face value. But a rare variation without a mint mark has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. What makes this coin so special? Let's start with mint marks. In U.S. coin production, mint marks indicate where a coin was made. For example, coins from Denver carry a D, while those from San Francisco have an S. Coins minted in Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark, especially during that era. However, the mystery begins when collectors noticed unusual variations in certain 1969 pennies, coins that didn't quite match expected minting patterns. Some rare specimens appear to lack a mint mark when one would normally be expected or show characteristics that suggest a minting anomaly. These small details might seem insignificant, but in numismatics, they can mean the difference between 1 cent and a fortune. Now let's talk about value. A genuine rare 1969 penny with unique characteristics, especially those linked to minting errors or unusual die variations, can command extraordinary prices. In top condition, with proper authentication, these coins have been valued starting from $1.2 million and even higher depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand. But here's the important part. Not every 1969 penny is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth only 1 cent. The high-value coins belong to a very small category of rare errors and anomalies. This is why identification is critical. How do you identify a potentially valuable 1969 Liberty 1 cent? First, examine the date carefully. Look for signs of doubling, unusual spacing, or distortion in the numbers. Rare error coins often show noticeable differences under magnification. Second, inspect the mint mark area. Even though some coins legitimately have no mint mark, you should check for inconsistencies, fading, or signs that something might be different from standard issues. Third, evaluate the condition of the coin. Coins in mint or near mint condition are significantly more valuable than worn ones. Collectors look for sharp details, original luster, and minimal damage. Fourth, always consider professional grading. If you believe you found a rare coin, the next step is authentication by a reputable grading service. This not only confirms its legitimacy, but also assigns a grade that directly impacts its market value. Now let's talk about why collectors are willing to pay such high prices. Rare coins like the 1969 Liberty 1 cent represent a combination of history, rarity, and mystery. These coins tell a story, not just of the time they were minted, but of the unique circumstances that led to their creation. Whether it's a minting error, a die variation, or an unusual production detail, each rare coin is essentially one of a kind. Scarcity plays a huge role in value. The fewer examples that exist, the higher the demand among collectors. When you combine rarity with strong collector interest, prices can skyrocket. Another factor is market demand. The rare coin market has grown significantly over the years, with collectors, investors, and enthusiasts constantly searching for hidden treasures. Coins that gain attention through auctions or media exposure often see rapid increases in value. Now imagine this scenario that you're going through old coins at home, maybe from a jar, a collection, or inherited items. Among them, you spot a 1969 penny. Most people would ignore it. But now, you know better. You take a closer look. You examine the details. And suddenly, you realize you might be holding something extraordinary. This is why coin collecting is so exciting. It's not just about collecting, it's about discovery. However, it's important to stay realistic and informed. The internet is filled with exaggerated claims about coin values. While some rare coins are indeed worth millions, those examples are extremely rare and must meet strict criteria. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, education is your best tool. Learn about minting processes, study known error types, and compare your coins with verified examples. The more knowledge you have, the better your chances of identifying something valuable. Let's also discuss common mistakes. Point 1. Major mistake is assuming every old coin is valuable. Age alone does not determine value. A coin must have rarity, demand, and condition working together. Another mistake is ignoring authentication. Even if a coin looks rare, without professional verification, its value remains uncertain. Finally, many beginners overlook small details. In rare coins, tiny differences can mean everything. A slight variation in lettering, spacing, or design can completely change a coin's worth. As we wrap up, here's the key takeaway. Today, we are diving into one of the most talked about pennies among collectors and enthusiasts, the 1980 Liberty 1 cent with no mint mark. This coin has sparked curiosity, debate, and excitement due to its unusual features and the possibility of high market value reaching up to $1,200 or more under the right conditions. Let's explore what makes this coin so special, how to identify it, and why collectors are willing to pay such impressive amounts for what appears to be an ordinary penny. The 1980 Lincoln cent, often referred to as the Liberty 1 cent by collectors because of the Liberty inscription on earlier designs, was minted during a time when billions of pennies were produced in the United States. Most of these coins are extremely common and carry very little value beyond face value. However, certain variations and errors can transform an everyday coin into a rare collectible. Point. One of the most intriguing aspects of this coin is the absence of a mint mark. Typically, coins produced in the United States feature a mint mark indicating where they were struck. For example, a D mint mark represents the Denver Mint, while an S indicates San Francisco. Coins without a mint mark are usually produced in Philadelphia. However, confusion arises when collectors encounter coins that appear to have missing or altered mint marks, especially when they resemble a Denver issue. This is where the excitement begins. Some 1980 pennies that appear to have no mint mark may actually be error coins or coins where the mint mark has been weakened, struck off-center, or affected by die issues. These rare variations are highly sought after because they are not part of the standard production and therefore exist in much smaller numbers. Now let's talk about the design. The 1980 Lincoln cent features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The word Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln, and the date 1980 is positioned to the right. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. Inside the memorial, if you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated, which is one of the most detailed elements ever included on a coin. At first glance, nothing about this coin seems unusual. But when you examine it closely, especially under magnification, you may begin to notice subtle differences that could indicate a valuable error. Collectors look for several key features when evaluating a 1980 no mint mark penny. First is the overall condition of the coin. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition are significantly more valuable than worn examples. A coin that has retained its original luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks can command a much higher price. Second is the presence of striking errors. These can include off-center strikes, double die errors, weak or missing mint marks, and die cracks. Each of these characteristics adds uniqueness to the coin and increases its desirability among collectors. Third is the color classification. Lincoln cents are typically categorized as red, red-brown, or brown. Red coins, which retain their original copper color, are the most valuable, especially in high grades. Now let's address the big question: why would a 1980 no mint mark penny be worth up to $1,200 or more? The answer lies in rarity and demand. While millions of 1980 pennies were produced, only a very small number exhibit rare error characteristics. When collectors discover a coin that deviates from the norm, it becomes a target for serious buyers. Auctions and private sales have shown that rare error pennies, especially those in excellent condition, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In some cases, coins with strong error features and professional grading have sold for impressive amounts due to competitive bidding. The combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand drives the price upward. However, it is important to understand that not every 1980 penny without a visible mint mark is valuable. Many coins simply come from the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time. These coins are common and typically worth only a few cents unless they are in exceptional condition. This is why proper identification is critical if you believe you have a rare 1980 no mint mark penny. The next step is to examine it carefully using a magnifying glass or coin microscope. Look for any unusual features such as doubling in the lettering, irregularities in the date, or signs of a missing or altered mint mark. After that, consider having the coin professionally graded by a reputable grading service. Professional grading not only confirms the authenticity of the coin, but also assigns it a grade that can significantly impact its market value. Another important factor is market timing. Coin values can fluctuate based on collector interest, auction activity, and overall market trends. Keeping an eye on recent sales and staying informed about the coin market can help you determine the best time to sell or hold your coin. For YouTube content strategy, this type of coin offers excellent engagement potential. Viewers are naturally drawn to the idea that a simple penny could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. By presenting clear visuals, close-up shots, and real examples, you can build trust and keep your audience engaged. Use keywords such as 1980 penny value, no mint mark penny, rare Lincoln cent errors, valuable coins to look for, and coins worth money today. These keywords are highly searchable and can help your video rank better on YouTube. You can also encourage viewers to check their own coins by asking questions like, do you have a 1980 penny in your pocket right now? Or have you ever checked your spare change for rare coins? This creates interaction and increases watch time. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in circulation, the 1981 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark. This coin has captured the attention of collectors across the United States, not just because of its rarity, but because of claims that its value could reach up to $1.2 million under the right conditions. Let's break down exactly what makes this coin so special, how to identify it, and whether you might have one hiding in your collection or pocket change. The Lincoln 1 cent series is one of the most collected coin types in American history. First introduced in 1909, it features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and has gone through multiple design changes over the decades. By 1981, the coin was still being struck in copper composition, just before the transition to zinc-coated pennies in 1982 to in 1981. Pennies were produced at three main U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Typically, coins from Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark, while Denver coins featured a D mint mark and San Francisco coins had an S. This is where things start to get interesting. The coin we're discussing today is often described as a 1981 D penny with no mint mark. At first glance, that may sound confusing because a Denver minted coin should always have a D. So how can a 1981 D exist without a mint mark? This is where the concept of mint errors comes into play. A missing mint mark error occurs when the mint mark is accidentally omitted during the die preparation process. This can happen if the die used to strike the coin was not properly engraved with the mint mark, or if the mint mark was removed or filled due to excessive polishing. These types of errors are extremely rare, especially for coins from facilities like Denver where mint marks are standard. If a genuine 1981 penny exists that was intended for the Denver Mint but lacks the D mint mark, it becomes an incredibly valuable anomaly. Collectors are willing to pay significant amounts for such unique errors, especially when they are verified and authenticated by professional grading services. Now let's talk about identification. To determine whether you have a valuable 1981 no mint mark penny, you need to carefully examine several features. First, check the date. It should clearly read 1981. Next, look directly below the date where the mint mark would normally appear. If there is no mint mark present, that's your first sign. However, not all 1981 pennies without a mint mark are rare. In fact, Philadelphia produced millions of pennies that year without mint marks. So the challenge is determining whether your coin is a standard Philadelphia issue or a rare error associated with the Denver Mint. This is where additional characteristics become critical. You should closely inspect the coin's strike quality, surface texture, and overall appearance. Error coins often show unusual traits such as die misalignment, weak strikes, or inconsistencies in lettering. A high-quality magnifying glass or digital microscope can help reveal these details. Another key factor is the coin's condition, also known as its grade. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition are significantly more valuable than those that are worn or damaged. A pristine example with a rare error can command extremely high prices at auction. Now let's address the big question: value. There have been reports and claims circulating online that a 1981 no mint mark penny could be worth up to $1.2 million. While this figure represents the upper extreme and would likely require a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand, it highlights the potential of such coins. In reality, most 1981 pennies without mint marks are worth only a few cents to a few dollars, depending on condition. However, a verified mint error, especially one that contradicts expected mint mark placement, can elevate the coin into a completely different category. Rare error coins have sold for tens of thousands, and in exceptional cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. The $1 million mark is reserved for only the rarest and most historically significant coins, but the possibility is what drives collectors to keep searching. Authentication is absolutely essential if you believe you have a rare 1981 no mint mark penny. The next step is to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. Organizations like PCGS or NGC specialize in verifying authenticity, grading condition, and identifying errors. Their certification adds credibility and significantly increases the coin's market value. Never attempt to clean or alter your coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and drastically reduce its value. Always handle coins carefully, preferably by the edges, and store them in protective holders. Another important aspect to consider is market demand. Coin values are influenced not only by rarity, but also by collector interest. The Lincoln Cent series has a massive following, which means that rare varieties and errors are constantly in demand. This demand helps sustain high prices for unique pieces. Online marketplaces, coin auctions, and collector forums are great places to research recent sales and trends. Keeping track of what similar coins are selling for can give you a realistic expectation of value. Now let's talk strategy for content and collectors. If you're building a coin collection or even a YouTube channel around rare coins, coins like the 1981 no mint mark penny are perfect topics. They combine mystery, potential high value, and accessibility. Since anyone can find a penny in circulation, always check your change. Look through old coin jars. Visit banks and request coin rolls. Many valuable coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered. Today, we are diving deep into one such coin that has sparked massive curiosity and excitement among collectors and enthusiasts: the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no visible mint mark. At first glance, it may look like just another penny you would find in your pocket, but under the right conditions and with the right characteristics, this small copper coin could potentially hold a value that reaches extraordinary levels. Let's start with the basics. The 1995 Lincoln Cent features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been a staple of American coinage since 1909. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design used from 1959 until 2008. These coins were minted in large numbers, primarily in Philadelphia and Denver. Typically, coins minted in Philadelphia during that time either had no mint mark or began transitioning into including a P mint mark in later years. Now here's where things become interesting. A 1995 penny with no mint mark is generally understood to be struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That alone does not make it rare. However, certain variations, errors, and high-grade conditions can transform this common coin into a highly valuable collectible point. One of the most talked about features of the 1995 penny is the double die obverse error. This is a well-known variety where the inscriptions, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, show clear doubling due to a misalignment during the minting process. Coins with strong doubling are highly sought after and can fetch significant premiums in the market. But beyond known varieties, there are also discussions within the collecting community about extremely rare specimens of the 1995 penny that appear without a mint mark under unusual circumstances or with unique striking anomalies. These coins often generate attention due to their scarcity and the mystery surrounding their production. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A circulated 1995 penny is typically worth only face value or slightly above. However, coins graded in mint state condition, especially MS 67 or higher, can command much higher prices. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can mean the difference between a few cents and hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now let's address the most exciting part, the high-value claims. There have been reports and listings suggesting that certain rare 1995 no mint mark pennies have reached asking prices starting from $1.2 million. While these figures are extraordinary and not representative of standard market transactions, they reflect the potential that collectors and sellers sometimes place on ultra-rare or unique specimens. It's important to understand that such high valuations are typically associated with coins that meet very specific criteria. These may include flawless surfaces, exceptional luster, rare minting errors, or unique characteristics that set them apart from all known examples. In some cases, coins that are believed to be one-of-a-kind or part of a very limited population can drive extreme pricing expectations. For collectors looking to identify whether they might have a valuable 1995 penny, there are several key things to check. First, examine the coin closely under magnification. Look for doubling in the lettering, especially on the obverse. Check the condition of the coin. Is it shiny, free from scratches, and well-preserved? Next, verify the absence of a mint mark and ensure that it is not simply worn off due to circulation. Another crucial step is authentication and grading. Professional grading services can evaluate the coin's authenticity and assign it a grade based on its condition. Coins that are certified by reputable grading companies tend to carry more credibility and can achieve higher prices in the market. The demand for rare coins continues to grow as more people discover the hobby and begin searching through their pocket change for hidden treasures. The idea that a simple penny could be worth thousands or even more fuels this excitement and keeps collectors constantly on the lookout. It's also worth noting that the coin market is influenced by trends, collector interest, and auction activity. Prices can fluctuate based on demand and the discovery of new examples. A coin that is considered extremely rare today may become more common if additional specimens are found, which can impact its value. However, the allure of the 1995 no mint mark penny lies in its potential. It represents the possibility that something small and often overlooked could hold significant worth. This is what makes coin collecting both thrilling and rewarding. For content creators and collectors alike, coins like this provide an excellent opportunity to engage audiences. The combination of history, mystery, and high-value potential makes for compelling storytelling and strong viewer interest. Highlighting such coins in videos can attract both seasoned collectors and beginners who are just starting their journey. Today, we are uncovering one of the most fascinating modern coins that has captured attention across the United States coin market, the 2012 Liberty 1 cent with no mint mark. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary penny, something you might overlook in your daily change. But under the right conditions, this small copper coin could be worth a life-changing amount, with rare examples reportedly reaching values starting from $1.2 million. Let's break down exactly what makes this coin so special, why collectors are searching for it, and how you can identify whether you might be holding one of these hidden treasures. The 2012 1-cent coin is part of the modern Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation for over a century. While millions of pennies were minted in 2012, not all are created equal. Most coins from that year were struck in major minting facilities and carry a visible mint mark, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, the version we are focusing on today is the rare no mint mark variety. A no mint mark coin means it was produced without the identifying letter that tells you where the coin was minted. For modern coins, this can be extremely unusual, especially if it results from a minting error or an unintended variation during production. These types of coins often attract serious attention from collectors because they represent a mistake or anomaly in the minting process. Now, here is where things get interesting. Not every 2012 penny without a mint mark is valuable. In fact, most Philadelphia minted coins traditionally do not carry a mint mark, so a regular no mint mark penny from 2012 is quite common. However, the rare and valuable versions come from specific error conditions. These may include striking errors, die anomalies, or unique production flaws that make the coin stand out from standard circulation pieces. Some of the key features that can significantly increase the value of a 2012 Liberty 1 cent include double die errors, off-center strikes, missing design elements, or unusual surface textures. In rare cases, coins may also exhibit die cracks or be struck on incorrect planchets. These characteristics are what separate an ordinary penny from a potentially million-dollar collectible. Condition is another major factor. In coin collecting, the term used is grade. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint state condition can be worth significantly more than those that show wear and tear. A pristine 2012 no mint mark penny with a rare error can command extremely high prices, especially if it has been professionally graded and authenticated. The reason collectors are willing to pay such high amounts comes down to rarity and demand. When a coin is both rare and highly sought after, its value can skyrocket. The idea that a modern coin, something still relatively recent, could reach values in the millions adds even more excitement to the hunt. It creates a sense of possibility for everyday people, encouraging them to check their pocket change more carefully. Another important aspect is certification. If you believe you have found a rare 2012 no mint mark penny with unique features, the next step is to have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. These organizations authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and seal it in a protective holder. This not only preserves the coin, but also increases its credibility and market value. Now let's talk about the market value in more detail. While standard 2012 pennies are only worth their face value, rare error coins from this year can sell for hundreds, thousands, or even millions depending on their uniqueness and condition. The figure of $1.2 million represents the upper range for extremely rare and exceptional examples. These are not common finds, but they do exist, which is why collectors remain highly motivated. The growing popularity of coin collecting on digital platforms has also played a major role in increasing awareness. More people are now learning about valuable coins, rare errors, and hidden gems through online content. This has led to increased demand and higher prices for rare coins, including the 2012 Liberty 1 cent with no mint marked. If you are interested in searching for this coin, start by examining your change carefully. Look for coins from 2012 and check for the absence of a mint mark. Then, inspect the coin closely under good lighting. Pay attention to any unusual features such as doubling in the text, misalignment, or irregular surfaces. Using a magnifying glass can help you spot details that are not visible to the naked eye. It is also important to handle coins properly. Always hold them by the edges to avoid damaging the surface. Even small scratches or fingerprints can reduce the value of a coin, especially if it is in near-perfect condition.